Mm-mm. Hey, girl. Hey. We are
Listen,
here here to talk about parenting, more specifically motherhood, and just some of the challenges that people face that they don't want to talk about. Everybody want to talk about their super mom, but we just want to kind of dispel some of those myths and talk about the truth behind parenting and being a mom with or without a spouse or a man in your life. The shit is crazy. It's hard, and we don't want to be super moms, but we have to be. So you have myself, alter ego, my bestie, Miss Crystal here, and we're gonna be coming to you 4 times a month, just talking about some real topics and some real things that's going on out here in these mom streets. So, how was your week?
these
It's
mom streets are ghetto. I just want you to know. You know what? I really think that the term super mom
mm-hmm.
was invented by a man. And I say this because let me tell you. So the other day I'm talking to a gentleman. We're trying to I'm opening a store, and so I need signage and all this, and they connected me to him. And so in the midst of talking, I was explaining to him how I wasn't able to answer the phone earlier because I was one of the kids called, and that just led to a typical conversation about kids. And he was like, well, how many do you have? And I'm telling him how many I have. And then I was in my car, as I'm always in my car except for today,
Mm-hmm.
and driving home, and I got to stop at the grocery store and get dinner because they forgot to take something out for dinner and everything. And at the end of me, telling him all this, he said, well, why aren't you in therapy?
Hmm.
And I was like, you know what, sir? The reason why I'm not in therapy is because of you. You're men. Your men species is why I'm not in therapy. You see how hard it is we have it. I said, so I need for you I'm going to choose you as a representative for the male conglomerate that
Right.
wives, women, we need therapy because of all the things that we go through. And then, he talked about his wife doing a good job. They have 4 kids. Now they have 4 dogs and everything. And I really do believe that the term supermom came from a man because we as women, we're doing these things and we don't think it's, I got a cape on my back and I'm fighting the motherhood or parenthood or thing like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's just
Yeah,
things
I
that we
agree.
do. We do it because we do it.
We have. If we don't do it, who else is going to do it? Did you see that post where they finally said that period cramps is like having a heart attack or something like that? Something
Yes,
along
I posted it. I found it
those lines.
yesterday. Yeah, I did. I found it yesterday, and a doctor finally agreed that women having menstrual cramps is equivalent to having a heart attack.
And the crazy part about it is that we already, as black women, have it hard. Y'all already don't believe us when we say we don't feel good, we're in pain. Um, and now all these years of periods, you decided to say, "Oh yeah," like women haven't been saying that for years. Like it's crazy. Like you need a mental health day to deal with that. At least the first couple of days. That's crazy. And imagine doing that and then still having kids hanging off of you. Some of them, you got a little baby, the baby hanging off your titty because they want your milk. You know what I mean? And you sitting there with cramps. Like, come on now, and it feel like a damn heart attack.
Right.
Like it's crazy. I know that a lot of women though feel like they have one up on other women if they're doing a whole bunch of stuff. Like I literally had to block somebody because I had made a post a few years ago just about like just being tired and frustrated or whatever. And she basically like went in on me like oh well the kids didn't ask to be here. You brought that on yourself. I have 7 kids and a husband and this and that. I says block. Like we're not even gonna argue. That's fine if you want to do that and give yourself a heart attack. But I would prefer not to be a super mom. I don't want to be a super mom. It's hard out here. You know what I mean? And people try to glorify doing a zillion things. No, I want to be able to chill and sip my wine like that chick in the movie with them casseroles and drinking a whole bottle of wine. I want to be able to do that too sometimes. Like I don't want to have to be running from the time you get exactly. from the time you get up, okay, to the time you go to bed. Like, who wants to do that? You want to sit in a bubble bath like you see on TV without
Right.
a kid coming under the door. Just because you have kids does not mean you want to give up yourself and who you are as a person. And for some reason, people seem to think that, oh, well, you had kids, so, excuse me, no, I'm still me. Um, so
And
that's.
I think another part to that is that I made a post the other day about women showing each other some grace. Like you know how hard it is as a woman. You know how hard it is out here to be a woman and to be a woman with children, to be a woman with children with special needs, and whether you have a husband or not. A lot of when they talk about women going through so much, and a lot of the things that the women go through, they do have husbands, and women I don't know, like sometimes they call it like the catty behavior, whatever. But I know, like in my own family, and when we talk about this, we seen our grandmother, raise 6 kids by herself. Even though grandpapa was there, but she did all the cooking and cleaning and rearing of the children. And then you have this and this. I don't know, like they instill this in the women coming up that oh, if grandma did it, you could. She was strong. You come from a strong line of strong women and you can do it. You can do it. You better not cry. You can't be weak. You can't cry. You gotta go to work, get the food, cook it, clean the house, have an immaculate house, raise the kids and please your man. And then you're like, okay, so where do I fit in all this? Like
Right.
you want and then the other part to that is that when you don't have time for yourself, then it's like, oh, why can't you take time for yourself? Well, when do you want to do that? Well, why can't you just take a minute, like leave them kids alone? I said, so women just need to give ourselves some grace too, and give each other some grace because, okay, the kids didn't eat at 6 o'clock. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they're still alive.
And
My
people,
house is not going to be on Better Homes and Garden.
but they be lying though, Crystal. People lie in front for the gram all the time. Like, girl, your house is not clean all the time. And honestly, you probably did a video recording in the one corner that you cleared everything out to do a video. Like those people who post those videos, that aggravates me. Like, they'll have 14 kids and and take a video of them lighting a candle, sipping it. Come on, like, you're not being realistic right now. Now, I'm not saying that your house got to be junky or anything like that, but so your kids can't play with no toys. They don't eat no snacks. Like, they don't do nothing. Like, just like you said, women need to give each other grace and just be realistic, and just let other women know it's okay. Like, you're tired. It's
Right.
bad that sometimes you forget who you are. Like, when you do have downtime, you don't even know what the hell to do. Like, I don't know what to do. The kid's not here or the baby's asleep and you sitting there looking dumb on TikTok.
Right.
Like, what do you do? You know what I mean? Like, you become defined by, being a parent. And I think that that is crazy. And that, I'm still me. I'm still in there somewhere. And then what makes it harder is, like, if you have a child with special needs, like, you can't just let anybody watch a kid. You can't just be like, huh. You know what I mean? You got to make sure that they're equipped, that they have the patience to do it. Everybody not trying to get hit upside the head with a car. You feel me? Um,
Right.
Everybody's not trying to clean shit up off the wall. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody trying to do that. So, it makes it even harder to get a break. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't know. I just this whole super mom thing, this era of super moms is really just out of
Ghetto.
pocket. Yeah, and it needs to be deaded because, listen, to the women who you want to be superwoman, okay, babe, not me. Help me. Come get these damn kids. Come get your kids, please. Maybe because I'm older now. I don't know. I'm old.
I don't even think it's because we're older. I think it just has, it's just sign of the times. That's an old saying that we've seen it and done it all. You've seen your grandma, you've seen your mom, you've seen your girlfriends, and not only just seen them, but help them with watching the kids and your nieces, your nephews, your friends, sons, daughters are going over to help them out and putting out fires and, pull them from jumping off the ledge and stuff like that, that you realize like this is some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I need some help, and it's okay to say I need some help. I'm not a superhero because last time I checked, I can't fight bullets. I can't fly.
Mm-hmm.
I can't disappear.
Hmm.
However, the only superpower we do seem to have as moms is hearing babies cry when they ain't here, taking
Okay.
out the trash that nobody else sees that's piling
Hmm.
up in the corner, right? Making a meal out of rice and beans and making and stretching $1. That's the superpower right there. But all this other stuff, yeah, we just realized that listen, we ain't got time to do all that. Especially when now you got women who are more doing more business than men, bringing more income in than men. And I love to see it. Tracy Ellis Ross realizing that, you know what, I don't want no kids. It's hard. Before when people be like, oh, having a baby is such a blessing. You had sex.
Hmm.
Not the now. Don't come for me for the women who are infertile, who having trouble conceiving. Because trust me, I was there. I had 8 miscarriages before I had my one. However, for those of us who have kids and have multiple kids, when people are, when people are newly pregnant and they're in their honeymoon phase, and oh my God, you're pregnant. Let me rub the belly. Oh, the baby's so cute, smells so good. Enjoy that time, young grasshopper, because you'll be coming over here looking like. As a matter of fact, one of my jobs as a sub at the school in the teacher's lounge is crazy. I should have been there more often, right? So the woman comes in there and she said she has 2 kids, 1 and 2. And she said at this point, she's just keeping them alive because she said and she's married. And she said her husband said, I don't know how you do it. And she's looking at him. She says, I'm looking at him like I could really kill you right now.
What do you mean? That's what I'm saying.
And she's like, this job is stressful enough because she's a teacher at a school with kids, and then she comes home and she has her 2 kids. So even though her husband is home with the kids while she's at school, as soon as she comes in, the kids are now hers, and then he's off having a beer with the fellas at the brewery, or he's running an errand, and now she's dealing with the 2 kids, and they're 1 and 2. And you and I know how the 1 and 2 year olds. I'm surprised she's still walking around, right?
One
And
and
she
two.
just said at this point, she was, and at the end, the teachers, shout out to all the teachers out there. She had 30 minutes to get her lunch, warm it up, and go back to her room because her kids were out at recess to scarf it down before the kids came back in. And then she said, at this point, all I'm doing is just keeping the kids alive. And to keep them alive, I need to keep me alive. So I'm going to eat my food. And she was like, when she was eating her food, she was stabbing it and putting it in her mouth. And then she said, it's because this fork is dull. I'm like, what? A dull fork? But
You be stressed.
right. And
It's
so
like
and
I feel like motherhood is like the origin story of a superhero. I mean, not the superhero, the villain. Like you're trying so hard to be a good person, and you see your husband, who is the superhero, having this life, and you sitting here like, damn, I wish I could go have a beer. I wish I could go. Then now you Thanos, and you ready to snap and get rid of every goddamn body. And now they looking at you like you're crazy because now you done turned into the Incredible Hulk or somebody, or you know what I mean? Now you Thanos and you out here trying to kill everybody. But it's because you're sitting here, you're trying so hard, and everything that you're doing, like people just kind of disregard all the shit that you do on top of the fact that you're a woman. I feel like being a woman is way harder than being a man sometimes because of all the hormonal changes, all the body changes that you go through. And then
right.
babies literally hang off your titty. Like, let's think about this. You're bleeding once a month. You feel me? You had a baby. The baby is drinking milk off your boobs. Like, I mean, it's sweet, but let's be real. Like, if somebody hanging off your titty and they just pull your titty out whenever they want because they want the milk, then you bleed and you got to cook, you got to clean, and then your husband's still trying to rub on you. Like, absolutely not. Like, that's why women have these mental health issues because nobody cares. Nobody is helping them. And then
At
I
all.
feel like when you're a parent and I'm new to the special needs family, it's like I feel like they kind of dropped the ball for parents. You have all the therapies and the services for the kids, which to me are lacking. I don't really feel like it's really intense and really good programs out there. I'm not knocking the therapist, but But as a mom, I feel like there's really nothing. It's kind of like take these therapies, help your kids. We're going to help you help your kids. But at the end of the day, when you sitting in the room crying because you had to clean shit up off the wall, like who was there? What can you do? Who was there to help you? Where is your moment to fucking breathe?
I think for a lot of the systems and things that they have in place is just, I wouldn't say what they were thrown together. In the beginning, it was fine because there was, and I could say this when I had this conversation with John a while ago, just very recently, you never seen a child who had autism. Or,
Mm-hmm.
you seen, and you rarely seen, especially those of color, you rarely seen a person of color with Down syndrome. And
Mm-hmm.
then we all had the special, we got a special little Uncle John that stay in the back room, but he never came out the back room or never came off the porch. We never seen him. And so now that the world is changing and evolving and they're more present and coming out, so the system that they had in place was just for the small community that they had.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just thrown together because some parent, probably a mom, said, I need some damn help. And you're going to help me because y'all need to.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I feel that the things that they have now haven't um evolved as fast as the world has, or and even changed as fast as the world has changed. And especially with the population has grown. And then as soon as, I mean, I remember having when I was a foster parent, I remember I had a baby, little girl, and she came to me in a t-shirt, fresh from the hospital. Mom had just had her, and they had her in two t-shirts, one t-shirt for the top and one t-shirt for as pants. And I was pregnant with my daughter Kaylani at the time. And I knew when she was about 6 months, something ain't right. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. But because the things they had then, they really don't, they said they do not diagnose children before the age of 3. And I said, but I see something now. 3 is going to be too late for me. 3 is too late. If I'm noticing these things, like she would stare up, she would avert her eyes to the corner. She needed hard stimulation. She would bang her head on the floor so hard that you could hear it downstairs. And you would think that I was like, I'm thinking it's one of the other kids stomping. It's her banging her head, and she would bang her head till she went to sleep. And the first couple months, I was like, oh my God, I was rushing to the hospital because I thought she passed out. And I'm constantly calling the social worker, like, hey, hey, y'all gonna have to remove her because I don't want y'all saying I abused this little girl. And here it is, you see. And I had them come over specific times when when it's time for her to go to sleep, so they could hear her and see her. She would scream, and like a high pitched scream, and for no reason. She would bang her head. I got her a helmet that had a little glitter on it. And the grandmother finally got herself together and was able to get her back. Um, but then even the documentation from the social worker, she documented everything. They still didn't diagnose her until she was 5.
Yeah.
So you had all that time in between where she wasn't getting any type of therapy, any type of any type of anything. And I think that has changed too, because now I'm seeing in the groups that I belong to that they're diagnosing kids as early as 1.
Mm-hmm. And but
And especially
I don't even think the world is set up for them either. Like it's hard for me to even want to take my babies out because there's not. I mean, now they have sensory days and like they're starting to do, but it's still a lot and it's not enough um out there. I know what you and I were talking about earlier. One of the programs that we're trying to do is to have a place where you can bring the kids. It's really about the mom, though. It's really about the
hmm
caregiver. So you know that your kid is safe, but then you can just sit down and just because that's a lot. Because imagine, being a grandmom, having that child from however long till 5, and I'm sure she probably knew something, and hopefully she's advocating for the kid, and you finally get diagnosed at 5. I know for me, When I was pregnant with the twins, they kept seeing something within Asim's brain and this blood flow, and we had all these tests, and literally, Gary had to remind me. He was like, "You've brought that up at every doctor's visit since you had them, and nobody's done anything." Literally, Crystal, every doctor's visit, even before autism, even before we realized that they weren't speaking and that they were delayed. Every single visit, I was like, "Hey, when I was pregnant, this is what was going on. Like, are we going to look into it?" Nothing. And the doctor was like, "Well, they were born at 35 weeks, and because they're twins, they'll probably be delayed to about 2. So by the time they're 2, they'll be caught up to other 2-year-olds." So that's a delay right there, because I'm assuming that, okay, I don't know anything about this. You know what I mean? So I'm just assuming that, okay. So it wasn't until around that time when I started saying, they should still be doing some other things. And then they kept getting sick and they had all these other issues. And because they were sick, it was kind of like, we're not really going to talk about the brain issue.
Right.
They're throwing up. But I'm like, but that's still an issue. Then you had COVID. And then when it was time to get the therapies, it's all these other kids at the place. So now they're like, okay, what's going on? So you had to try to find a perfect time. But all of this on me trying to, and I have other kids. So I'm sitting here trying to get 2 babies who, for their age. I was saying this morning to Gary, like they're 3, right? A usual 3-year-old, typical, you would think that you could be like, all right, come on, get your shoes, get your coat, I still have to carry them. You know what I mean? Up and down the steps. I mean, they can go up and down the steps, but they're still like babies. Like they still remind me of like 1.5 year olds. I'm like, that's a lot though, because they are 3.
Right.
They're heavy. They're 3-year-old. They're in 3-year-old bodies. And I'm still have to operate as if they're like 1.5. That's stressful. Where
It
do
is
I
stressful.
go? You can't go anywhere because who's going to watch them? So I just don't think the world is set up. I don't think there's enough in place for moms like us. You know what I mean? To just be like, because what if we didn't have anybody else? Like, what if? Because I see in a lot of those groups, a lot of those women are single, and this is their only child. So even though I'm married, I mean, I feel like I'm still single in a lot of ways. We can talk about that on another show. But thank God for my older children. You feel me? But if it was just me and the twins, I don't know what I would do. I can't get up and down over the gate to carry these big ass babies. You know what I mean? Like, what do you do? It's just fucked up. So, like I said, the purpose I wanted to have this show because a lot of times feel like people are faking. You know what I mean? My awesome autism. And that's what's up. I'm glad that you think your kid is awesome. My kids are awesome too. But like, let's be real. That shit is stressful.
And then some days they're awful.
Okay.
And
But then
listen,
when I had to pull shit balls out this little boy's mouth and throw the bed away because I couldn't get the shit off the bed because you done smeared it, I was not like, oh, you're so awesome. I was like, this is fucking crazy. This is awful. What kind of life are you going to live when I'm not here if you still trying to eat your shit?
look, Tyler is 8. Yesterday, he's nonverbal, so he doesn't say I gotta poop, I gotta pee, and he still don't get up or go poop or pee when he has to because he has his pull up on. Yesterday, he had the biggest blowout I've ever seen. That it was coming out of both sides of the pull up. Do you know what this little boy did? On the couch, he took the part that was blowing out of his pull up and pushed it to the side, like y'all in my way. Hands full of poop, nails full of poop, couch full of poop. I'm yelling and screaming. They told me, "Oh, I'm gonna go get a dirty towel. Give me some paper towels. Don't give me a dirty towel. Give me a paper towel." Oh my God. And the whole time, do you think homeboy put down his tablet? Not at all. Spread his legs just as ace cock deuce as he wanted to, so I could get up underneath his little ball sacks to get the poop off. And I'm like, well, thank you, sir. Thank you kindly. I really do appreciate you. Right? When any other time, freedom and letting that 8-year-old have it. How you going to shit on you? And you going to submit? Oh, Papa. But hey, we don't abuse.
But I
This
feel
is
like
what
after that, you need somebody to be able to still love on him so that you feel comfortable. But then you need to be able to be like, I'm out, I'm out. I need 45 minutes. I'll be right back. You feel me? Because like, and then I have two. So after that, the other baby looking at me like, well, sorry to you, but I want a cookie. So I'm sorry that you just went through that. You need to go get me a motherfucking cookie right now. You know what I mean?
sorry, more like I don't care what you just went through. Where's my cookie at?
Right. He like this. Like, like, what's up? Your son crazy, miss, but I said I want cookie and something to drink. So this was a good conversation. I have some guests in mind that I want to bring on, and we could just, share war stories. But we gonna get this respite house up and running. Um, and we just have to change the world for our babies because,
Yeah, the respite house is good. It's greatly there's a lot in place for kids, but
mm-hmm,
there's very seldom place systems in place for parents,
mm-hmm,
for the adults. And we ain't talking about the seniors. You
mm-hmm.
can call the senior hotline, somebody abusing the senior. We're talking about us in between. Like I just need to go.
Caregivers.
Right. I was saying that we need girlfriends, like Sex in the City girlfriends, where we can just rent, we can have all chip in for the 1 bedroom apartment to just go and breathe. Don't bring your little,
Yep.
no sneaky link or nothing. Just go over there and breathe. Have your wine, have your coffee, take a bath.
And that's how we gonna have it set up. We gonna have wine. You gonna have your snacks. Ain't nobody talking about no goddamn kids. We gonna come over
All
here.
I need, I need a case of crab legs.
You and this crab legs.
Case. Case.
Well, thanks for watching. Hopefully you join us our next week. Hopefully we'll have a guest.
Right.
And
And send us your horror stories. I want to hear the real true like true crime. I want to hear true grime
yeah,
of of motherhood. You ain't got to fake it over here cuz listen, we know it's ghetto.
it's ghetto. That's what we're gonna call it.